You hear the bombs, and next thing you know, the Russians can come in with guns, right?
Ukraine was like Disneyland for single dudes.
I was dating this one girl before the war started.
I'm hoping that once the war is over, people will come back.
There's gonna be a bonanza, man. There's gonna be an explosion, man.
My wife won't even speak Russian with me.
I still speak Russian a little bit better than Ukrainian. I don't know, I've been blocked from Tinder a long time ago, so I couldn't tell you.
Welcome to the Inner Confidence Podcast, where we bring you men's dating and lifestyle advice that doesn't suck. I'm your host, Robbie Kramer, a former collegiate golfer turned poker pro turned finance guy who became obsessed with learning about male-female attraction and dynamics and passionate about teaching men how to improve and optimize their love life. Tune in each week and we'll bring you the latest and greatest strategies on how to get more dates, how to build a thriving social circle that brings the best men and women into your life, how to become a better networker, and how to design a lifestyle that makes all your buddies jealous. If you're new to the show, I recommend you download my first date protocol. It's the best piece of content I have. It'll help you optimize your first date and subsequent dates. And I like to connect with my listeners personally. So if you want to grab a copy of that, please send me a direct message on Instagram. I'm at Robbie_Kramer. Now let's dive into this week's content. We are back with an episode today. We're going to talk about dating in Eastern Europe. We can talk about Ukraine post-war. My boy Yoni, who was a good buddy from Ukraine, he still has, or had a big sort of events promotions company in Kiev. We were wingmen, ran around all the time, got in a bunch of trouble there before the war. Odessa, all over Ukraine. Yoni's very well versed in nightlife and all things related to travel, and basically was kind of like a concierge a bit also for Israelis coming to Ukraine. So he would help them find accommodations and hook them up at clubs, and kind of like a VIP host, a jack of all trades, you could say. He's been on the podcast a few times, so excited to have you back, Yoni.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back, man.
Yeah. So
and we're not in post-war yet, man. We're still in the midst of
sorry, I didn't mean to say post-war. Post-start of war. Right.
Post-start of war, yeah. and honestly, there's not much talking about dating. Well, there is, but this is not the focal point right now of this whole situation in Ukraine.
Of course,
we still date, yeah. We still date, yeah, but it's a totally different story, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited to hear the story about essentially like what happened once the war broke out. I mean, everyone who listens to the show knows my story. I was leaving anyways because I was engaged to my fiance. We were waiting for her K-1 fiance visa. We heard rumors that Russia might invade. We usually kind of fucked off for the winter anyways because it's cold. You know, the summer before we spent down in Mexico, Tulum and Playa del Carmen. And then 2021, we're like, let's just go to Turkey. So we packed up the car, the two dogs drove to Turkey in January, and then the war started in February. And then we just didn't go back. Spent the next 6 months traveling around Europe, and then moved to the US once her visa came in. But that wasn't the story for you, obviously. You were in Kiev when it started.
No,
correct?
I was in Kharkiv, man.
Fuck, that's right.
Yeah.
That's so much worse.
All my Ukraine career, I lived in Kiev, and 6 months before the war started, I moved to Kharkiv.
And for people who don't know, Kharkiv is close to
40
Russia.
40 kilometers from the border.
Right.
And this was the center of the fighting at the beginning of like the first 2-3 weeks. This was the center of the major fighting and stuff like that. And like, yeah, we were sitting in the bomb shelters and stuff. They were like blowing up everywhere and stuff like that. But I'll take you before that. Like you said that you managed to get out, and I believe that most of the people, I didn't believe that it's gonna happen. Like, I was laughing. I was like, what war? What are you guys talking about? And I thought, maybe there's gonna be, if there's gonna be anything, maybe some movement down in the Donbass area, which was problematic to begin with. And I was very chill, like too chill, I think, And then I wake up one morning and I don't usually drink during week or at work, but I had a few drinks with my workers, and the few drinks turned into a few more drinks. I woke up, my head was like exploding, I'm waking up because two of my phones are ringing everywhere, and I'm like, what the hell is going on, right? Like, and then I see all the Israeli news because I was giving interviews all over the thing prior to that. And then I see the Israeli news are calling me, my friends are calling me, my family is calling me, and then my partner is calling me. And then he's like, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pick up, right? I pick up. He's like, where the fuck are you? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm at home. Like, yeah, I'm a little bit a little bit late to work, but chill, man. Like, he's like, what do you mean? I'm already almost in Lviv. I'm like, what Lviv? What? And then I hear all of a sudden, doof, 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 doof,
Holy
doof,
shit.
doof. It was crazy. Then I'm like, oh shit, something happened.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then I just end up grabbing like 10, 11 of my workers, that the ones that were in the bombing areas in the neighborhood where they were bombing the most. I took him in. We went to my friend's hotel. In the underground there was like a spa, I guess, but it's like a bunker thing. So we just chilled there for 2 weeks, man, because every day you think, it's gonna stop, or it's gonna, like, because you can't believe, like, dude, like, it's unbelievable. So you think, look, okay, like, it's gonna end tomorrow, it's gonna end tomorrow. And then after the first week, you wake up every morning and thinking that the Russians are in the city. So you're like waking up and you're like, okay, maybe we already got conquered, yeah. And that was like a very like realistic scenario, right? Because they were like attacking nonstop, they were bombing everything.
Were you able
And
to get service and news and everything down there in the shelter?
not really. The shelter was it ended up that the hotel was right next to a Russian embassy. With the Russian flag flying. So they would like block all the signals all of a sudden, like at their special times or whatever, like they would block everything, the GPS,
Oh
like
man.
anything. You're just sitting there like complete like blackout.
That must have been incredibly boring, but also stressful at the same time. Like, what the hell do you do for 2 weeks?
In that situation, the time flies, man. Like,
Yeah.
you don't understand because you're always busy like doing something. Like, I would drive out every morning, and I would
So you
I don't know
wouldn't
if you've
stay in the
seen.
bomb shelter all day. You'd be out and
Well,
about.
I yes and no. At the beginning you were there 24/7, and
Hmm.
then slowly you realize you have to do something. First of all, the food is running out, right? So
Right.
you gotta go and fetch for food somewhere. And then all the girls that were working at the hotel, and like the staff that were working in the hotel, they were trying to get out of Kharkiv. I'm sure you've seen the pictures at the beginning of the war. Kharkiv train station, like packed of people, like I'm like you couldn't see anything but people. So I would drive them in the morning. Whoever wanted to evacuate, I would drive him in the morning to the train station. I would leave him there, and then they would call me at the end of the day if they got up or didn't get up. So I would have to come and pick them up back to the hotel. Right, getting out of the hotel in the car is very stressful because like the tension on the streets was so high. There's no cars, there's no people walking, there's only
Hmm.
like secret service fucking people all over. They pull you over, like, what are you doing? And then they see my Israeli passport. They're like, what the hell? What's going on here, right? and then I explained to them, I'm like, listen, I'm just going like thing to pick up or drive somebody or pick up some food or something like that. And then they're like, okay, okay, go. And then there's curfew, which is very scary because they're so nervous themselves, you understand? So if you drive and
Hmm.
all of a sudden like you made a move that like that made them even more stressed, they could like they have the authority to open fire, like, if they see it fit. So you're always constantly on like very high adrenaline and tension. You're driving like on the sidewalks and stuff like that to make sure that nothing happens. You see burnt cars in the middle of the street. Then I
Wow.
drove into a gunfight with some separatists by the you remember the new mall that they opened in Kharkiv? Very nice mall.
Hmm.
There's like
I think I went there
separatists
once.
are fighting like the army and stuff like that. I'm driving into it. The soldiers like, get out of here, get out of here. I'm like,
Fuck.
oh shit, I'm turning around. I'm driving. Oh man, it was so crazy, man.
So why didn't you just jump in your car and head west? Was it
A
because of
few
your
reasons. A few reasons. First of all, because I had 11 people with me and the car fits five.
Okay.
And I was trying to like wing it and see and maybe like get somebody else to come with us and stuff like that, and maybe the war will end and stuff like that. And then And then my friends, the geniuses, the good friends that they are, they're telling me all these stories about like robbers, about wartime robbers. I don't know, like there's a name for that in Ukrainian and Russian, which are basically like they operate in wartime. So they would go and like rob cars and like and like pull people out and like whatever. Like it's a lawless place, right?
Right.
And another reason is basically everybody was driving. So to get to Lviv from Kharkiv, it was like a 4-day drive in the car nonstop.
Just traffic the whole way.
Yeah, traffic, chaos, roadblocks, you
Right.
name it, everything
Checkpoints.
along the way. Checkpoints, yeah, like it's crazy.
My other friends, because I had probably 5 or 6 other friends who basically left from Kiev in the morning and drove, to Lviv, or they drove south. I mean, it was a 3 to 4 day journey, plus, ditching the car at the border, walking across. I'm just really glad I left before all that.
No, a lot of people
coming from
did.
Kharkiv, that would be
Kharkiv,
much
yeah,
worse.
yeah,
Much
oh,
worse.
yeah, much worse.
And way scarier, because like, Kharkiv was getting hit harder than anywhere. Like I remember maybe in the first few days, didn't a missile like go right into like one of the
in the
main
center.
square government building?
Dead in the center, yeah, dead in the fucking center. It's
I have
not
a photo of like me parked in front of that building, like in my car when I did like that road trip with Igor around Eastern Ukraine. And
yeah,
like,
it's the most famous.
Oh, that's where the missile went.
The missile is still standing there, by the way. It's the most famous place in Kharkiv. This is like the pride of Kharkiv. This and the big park that they have.
Mhm.
So they wanted to show us. It was like 3-4 days in that they wanted to show us, like what they mean. So they blew the main thing. But no, Kharkiv fought off. Like if Kharkiv fell, realistically, they would come all the way to Kiev. They would surrender Kiev, and Kiev would fall also. Like Kharkiv was like the breaking point of the beginning of the war. And then when we left, actually, it was 2 weeks in, and when we left, they were very close, and that's what like I left almost without a choice, because the owner of the hotel, he told me, listen, man, like something is gonna go down big. I think you should go. So I took my guys like into. I would go to Poltava, came back for another one, and I came back to Poltava again. Kharkiv was divided, by a river into two. We were on the other side of the river. When I was driving away, like when I was driving the last one, they were already blocking the bridges with cement, concrete, like these blocking things. They were preparing for like street fights and tanks rolling down the streets and stuff like that. So it was pretty pretty hectic, man.
Pretty hairy.
Mm,
So what happened next? You went to Lviv?
no, we went to Poltava first, regrouped. Poltava, like coffee shops are open and stuff like that. We were in shock. Like we were like, what the hell is going on? Like
Right.
because nothing is open in Kharkiv.
And for
So we
reference,
go to
Poltava
Poltava.
is it's about halfway between, or a little closer to Kharkiv, right, than to Kiev, but it's
much
between
closer.
Kharkiv and
It's about an hour and a half from Kharkiv.
Okay, so like 2.5 from Kiev, give or take.
Something like that, yeah. But
Yeah.
Kiev, at that point, you couldn't go to Kiev because Kiev was surrounded. Remember Bucha and Irpin
Right.
and all that.
Right.
So you can't go to Kiev. So we're sitting in Poltava, and and we're regrouping. We just don't know what to do. We're sitting in a hotel and thinking what to do. The girls are with us, my workers. Somebody down the hallway is opening the door, like slamming the door. Girls are jumping like crazy, they think that bombs are flying. So we're sitting
Were you with
there
girls at this time too?
Well, my workers, not girls as we know them, but
okay.
my workers, yeah.
Your workers are usually girls, so it's Yoni usually rolls with a nice squad of female to males ratio. How many of these 11 were females?
About 6.
Okay.
There was me. There was 3 guys. There was me, two of my workers, and the rest was girls. Yeah. So yeah, but it was too stressful to think about that.
Oh man.
So yeah.
What were the
so
girls?
From Poltava,
were the girls like panicking at first and then staying cool, or they were?
Oh yeah.
Were you? Was it difficult to manage sort of all that feminine energy.
Yeah. Not only the feminine with energy in these situations, like people are like, the amount of the information that goes through, Telegram channels that say stupid stuff. These,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the beginning, before people realize what to listen to and what not. So everybody's sitting. As soon as we get some connection, everybody's sitting on their phones and reading all this fucking like stupid bullshit. Zelensky like fell, Zelensky ran away, and everybody's stressing out, and they're talking to each other and making each other more stressful. And and I'm sitting there, I'm like, listen guys, first of all, stop reading all this crap. If you want to read something, there's a few reliable sources that you should go to. If they say, then you should check a few more and maybe only then panic. Until then, I don't want to hear of all this like the end of the world and stuff like that. Like, it's not. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be okay. We're together. Everything is gonna be okay. But it's very hard. In theory, you try to calm them down, but in fact, they're like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, look what's going on. I'm like, okay, well, what's the point of sitting here and panicking? How is that gonna help anybody? Let's chill. Let's calm down. And I'll promise I'll do anything to make sure that we're okay. But yeah, it's stronger than them. You understand? It's like the fear, and it's like it's not something over there. You hear the bombs and like everything is shaking, and next thing you know, the kid, like the Russians can come into the bunker with guns, right? Like it was a constant reality like that. So yeah, you try to, because I was the oldest and a guy, and I have some experience with Israeli wars and stuff like that. Not like that, but a little bit of like panic management, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You try to keep him sane, but there's paranoia, and people are saying, "Oh, did you hear something from from the door and stuff like that?" And very, 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 very emotionally draining, and emotionally it was hard, man. But I'm glad that we did it. Like, we made it, and then yeah. So from Poltava, there's a chaos all over the country. It's 2 weeks in. Kiev is almost surrendered. Lviv is packed with people, like like refugees from all over, absolutely packed. We start
Heard like
driving,
trying
and
to
I'm
get a
like,
hotel room or anywhere to stay in Lviv was
anything,
possible.
anything,
Yeah.
man, anything, man. So we're driving, and we're just calling like every like house owner, like try to get them to let us in, and they're all paranoid about refugees coming and bringing more refugees, and it's like a big mess, right? And they charge you up the ass for it. So we rent some kind of like absolutely empty house on the outskirts of Lviv for like $2,500 a month, with like
Expensive.
$5,000 damage deposit. Very expensive, very expensive. And the owner of the house was there every morning before we go to work to make sure we don't take the little that he had, like the two sofas that he had inside, that we don't fucking pull it out of the house and go sell it somewhere. Ridiculous, man.
Wow.
He would meet us in the evening to make sure that everything's okay. And like, crazy, man, like from the movies, man. And the owner of the house was like a movie character too, like one of these.
This is an old Western Ukrainian dude.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
classic, like classic, like nosy, like you wouldn't believe, man. All up in our shit, man.
Jewish?
Everywhere. No, like I think it was like 100% anti-Jewish, to be honest with you.
Well, Lviv is the it's called what's that area called where basically all of us Ashkenazi Jews are from?
It's the Galiciana or something like that,
Galicia.
or whatever.
Right, Galicia.
Galicia, yeah, Galicia. Where most of us got slaughtered also. So
Right.
so it's like it's like a yin and a yang. But yeah,
Totally.
Galiciana or like stuff like that.
I visited Lviv in 2019, and I was with a bunch of girls and kind of doing one of the trips. We went to this Jewish restaurant where they let you negotiate the bill at the end. And
So racist.
so funny. They started at like 2,000 grivna, which at the time I think was like $300 or something. Maybe something like that, maybe less. Or no, 2,000 was probably like $100, right, at the time.
Yeah, $100.
And then the girls that we were with, one of them like negotiated down from like 2,000 to like 650. And I'm like, so wait, this group of 10 people is going to pay $55 or $45 for this meal. It's like, well, those were the incredible
Who's the
prices
Jew
back in
here?
the day. Yeah, exactly. I thought we were going to be the ones getting, suckered in that restaurant. But yeah.
No, the
But anyways,
prices right now. The prices right now in Lviv are like crazy. First of all, the grivna is basically almost like half of what it used to be. It used to be when you were around before the war about 24 grivna to $1. Now it's like 39. It was 40. Now it's 37, something like that. So it's almost doubled.
Mm-hmm.
Prices are like shooting up. Petrol is $2 a liter or something like that. Very expensive. And before, when we just arrived here, there was absolutely no gasoline to find, man. Like you would drive around like a drug addict with a canister trying to find some fucking gas, man. That was crazy.
How did you get the gas to get from Kharkiv? You just waited forever to fill
they
up?
They give you 20 liters at each gas station on the way. They give you 20 liters just to get to the next one.
Wow. All right.
And then sometimes you talk to them and be like, hey, I got like a 4-liter fucking Jeep Grand Cherokee. Like I wouldn't make it. So give me like 25, 30 liters. But everybody was understandable. Actually, you know what? You know Ukraine before the war, which, we all know that there was not much of this togetherness and sense of a people's. When the war started, everybody started helping each other out. Like I've never seen even in Israel at times of war. Everybody came together. Everybody was helping each other, like food, gasoline. Everybody was looking at each other, like with so much compassion and stuff like that. So actually, this is one of the unfortunate but really good things that happened, is that Putin actually made Ukraine into a nation. That's what they say here. He got people got them together and got them to actually think about each other, which wasn't happening before. I even got my car fixed on the way in Poltava. I was like, here, man, like I got money. He's like, no, don't worry, you got a long way to go. I've never seen that in Ukraine before in my life. Wow. He's like, no, man, like, yeah.
Well, I always thought you were clever because you learned Ukrainian. I learned Russian just because in Kiev and also Odessa, where I'd spend most of my time, most people spoke Russian, and so when you were learning Ukrainian and, became fluent, I was always like, why would you bother, given the Russian language is spoken much more. And now my wife won't even speak Russian. Right. She's like, I learned Russian for what?
And look where we are now, man. It's crazy, man. It's how the world turns, like it's very unbelievable. Now, well, I still speak Russian a little bit better than Ukrainian. Ukrainian is very hard because of the Russian. It's very hard to learn Ukrainian because a lot of the Russian words would come up, even for the locals from the east of Ukraine. A lot of them speak that mixed Ukrainian Russian language, and it's very hard. Here in Lviv, they speak like proper Ukrainian. Right. And that's very hard. Like I sometimes don't even understand what they're saying. So I'm like, please repeat and stuff like that. It's much nicer. It's such a beautiful language. It's like when girls speak to me in Ukrainian, like I melt, man. Like I'm melting, man. Such a nice language.
Yeah, it's much softer sounding. It's a lot easier on the ears than Russian, that's for sure.
So much easier. Oh, Russian is cutting through your head.
Suka, bled.
Пожалуйста, спасибо. Don't hit me. Don't hit me, please.
Please and thank you sounds like I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah. Terrible. And now even more. It's understandable even more when they attacked us. We understand why.
So what did you do once you got to Lviv in terms of, because obviously you're in nightlife and entertainment. That sector is completely done. No one's partying. No one's doing anything of that nature, right? Like, what did you do for work? Like, how did you sort of pivot your life?
that side of Ukraine for now is on hold, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have some kind of extreme dudes don't want to date Ukrainian girls in a war zone. that could be that could also be like one of the things. But no, now we with our friends we opened some outsourcing for like call centers and stuff like that. Outsourcing for a few like very boring businesses. I'm very bored, but this is a means to make money right now. So and parallel to that, I'm actually like preparing a lot of things uh, for PR, which is going to be I believe that when the war is over, or at least like it's more or less stable, and that people are going to start pouring in here to rebuild Ukraine, to wanting to see all the cities that you heard in the news about, like Bakhmut and stuff like that, when we conquer
Mm-hmm.
it back. Uh, so I'm working on a few things. I think we're going to develop the tourism, because it will be like like the whole world heard about Bakhmut and Irpin and Bucha and stuff like that. So I'm laying down the ground right now for these things, and have like Chernobyl, and like there's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be like endless possibilities for tourism.
Yeah, man,
So
that's really
that
smart because I think it's just gonna go crazy.
yeah. I mean, right now only the heads of states are coming to Bucha.
Right.
As soon as things are more or less stable, everybody's gonna want to come see it.
Yeah, I've held on to a couple of my properties. I had a nice little portfolio of like 16 Airbnb listings
Oh yeah,
before the war
yeah.
started. Obviously all in Kiev, and
Uh-huh.
I still have my office which has tenants in it, and I still have one property that's right in Mikhailivska Square.
Hmm.
Who and then my personal place, which it's
Yeah,
all media people that are there, journalists basically
yeah.
staying.
Oh
I had to
yeah.
give up the rest of the places, but I'm hoping that once the war is over, people will come back and
There's gonna be a
tourism
bonanza,
will
man. There's
boom.
gonna be an explosion, man. Explosion. And this is another thing that I'm really looking, like not really looking, but actually working on, is to make a business introduction into Ukraine sort of thing. It's like a one-stop shop to move your business here, or to start a business here. Like if you have some kind of franchise or business and you want to start working in Ukraine, we're gonna give you like the whole service of bringing you in, from like the smallest thing as immigration papers, work permits, and like renting offices and hooking you up to the internet, and like
So kind of
taxes,
like a
companies.
bespoke service to help people open businesses and live in Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be like more for companies, for like bigger companies. So let's
Okay.
say, I don't know, your IT company, and you want to work in Ukraine. So before you come in, we open like we rent an office for you. We connect you. We buy all the equipment. We do the HR work. You just come in and bring a few of your managers, and basically we set you up. We set your company up for everything, and then you come in and you just start working, instead of like going through the bureaucracy. And
Oh yeah.
it seems simple, but you know how it is in Ukraine. It's everything is in Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of
It was
hard, and
hard
then
enough to get my residency and work permit.
yeah.
Luckily I had our buddy Tassos for that.
Mm,
He took me all the offices, and he's
mm,
flirting with this lady and that lady, and
yeah,
I didn't know anything
yeah,
that's
yes.
happening. It's all in Ukrainian. I'm just sitting there,
Exactly.
okay. I hope I'm not
Even
getting
the
scammed here.
immigration. Yeah, even the immigration services are all in Ukrainian. So if you come like you're speaking English, they don't even know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
So basically, we're gonna give you the solution of like you completely. You tell us what you want. You tell us I want this, I want that, blah 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 blah, and we put it all in. We get it all done for you. Legal, HR, like PR, everything.
Yeah.
So this is something I'm working on. I'm setting up the company is already open. Gonna be like hiring people and getting an office. I don't know which city yet. Probably gonna be in Kiev, but I'm in Lviv. So
What are things like
Mhm.
in Lviv now? What are things like in Kiev now? I'm guessing you've been to Kiev since. since, right?
Yeah. I've been to Kiev. Kiev is my favorite city in the world, but it's a little
Mine
bit,
too.
yeah, it's missing something, it's all the same city, it's all the same people, but a little bit of the I guess the excitement, you could understand why, but something is missing.
Right.
Lviv, on the other hand, is always been a sleeper town, not a sleeper town, but like a chill, like family orientated. I used to like to come here for a weekend with a girlfriend
Right.
and run away from here. Now, you remember the old city, right?
Hmm.
Very beautiful place. Now you see almost every day, especially when it's sunny, but not only when it's sunny, packed with people, absolutely packed. All the restaurants are open, all the cafes are open, everything. And I guess the life moved a little bit west in Ukraine now because it's even though rockets are still flying, sirens are almost every day, but it's not as like they don't throw as many rockets here as in Kiev. In Kiev,
Right.
they could throw 50, 60 a day. Here they could throw 3, 4, something like that. One of them would hit once in a while. So people just continue with their life because like you can't stop. Obviously, the first couple of weeks, everybody stopped everything, but now life must go on. So
It just
you
kind of becomes like a
gotta.
normal thing, right? It's
Oh
like, oh,
yeah,
there's
it
a
became a
siren, there's a
routine.
rocket. Hmm.
Yeah, no, nobody like until like there's a rocket a few days ago that fell on a residential building. Until then, people relax when they hear a siren. They don't even go into the underground, and then one hits and kills a few people. So people are start going back into the shelters again, and that's how it is. This is the routine for over a year and a half
Hmm.
now. So, but it's a lot more relaxed here, to be honest.
Because there's still a curfew in Kiev, right?
All over the country for solidarity with the rest, right? You can't be clubbing in Lviv and people are dying in Bakhmut, so
Right.
solidarity wise, curfew is from 12 to 5 everywhere.
Got it. So midnight, everything shuts down. So the whole nightlife industry is effectively just now dinner and
Oh yeah, dinner, and that's it. Some places are open, but then I honestly I don't feel comfortable like partying too much when shit like that is going on.
right.
Some guy in Kiev, especially, a lot of places like you see on the news, all got raided.
Just
Dudes are
cafe.
sitting just cafe and like arena places and like sky bars stuff like that. People are
Hmm.
partying and dancing. I don't know. You know how much I like to party, but I don't
Listen,
know. I
if
don't
you're not
feel like
partying,
100.
if you're not
Yeah, I
partying,
don't
I don't
feel
know who the fuck's
100%.
partying.
I don't.
So
I don't feel 100% with it. I
yeah.
do. I do private. Like very small parties, like me and a few girls. And that's it. On the weekends. That's it.
Yeah. So what's happened with your dating life? Because we both started dating girls. When I met my wife, and then I think you guys obviously broke up, and that was before the war.
Yeah, yeah. That was before the war. Well, I got into work a little bit, so I wasn't. Oh, actually, no. I was dating this one girl before the war started, and then I don't know, man. That's just. I'm jealous of you that that you could. I'm still finding my niche in the relationship in the relationship department, man. I don't know, like I especially right now, like when there's not much going on, like this would be like the perfect time to like settle down and have like somebody with you and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's not meant to be. I don't know, man. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I feel like it's kind of like dependent on your partner. Because for me, like I was in the same boat as you. Like, that's never gonna happen. Like the whole idea of monogamy for me was like, no, not interested in that. Why would I? Um, but then like I don't know. I changed my opinion. Obviously Maria probably had something to do with that, but like my desire for strange basically went down to the point where I just didn't like there wasn't enough motivation for me to care. And I kind of just shifted. I feel like I just stopped playing that game and got interested in playing a different game, which is like the business game, the getting good at golf again game, which, golf was my passion. That was my entire life. up until, the end of college. And I didn't even focus on girls at all. And then like, once I realized I wasn't going to be on the PGA Tour, I was like, all right, well, let me play a new game. That's when I got into like pickup and dating and all that stuff. And I became obsessed in the same sort of way. And now it's back to golf. So my desire for, for all the things that I used to do and all the fun and all the craziness, all the trips and parties, it's like, I just don't care. And I guess I'm glad that I don't care, because it's just something I don't have to spend a bunch of money and time and effort on. But it's also like, I'm sure if something happened and I found myself single again, I'm guessing I would just dive right back into that. So it's
I'm actually looking for that. I'm looking for like you to find something like more interesting. And I don't know, man. Like work is my main, basically for the last 2 years. I've been like, like head first into work, and like working 12-hour days and stuff like that, and like investing a lot of time, energy, like sweat and tears into it. But I don't know. And then Friday comes around, and you're like, okay, like maybe I'll go on a date, and then fuck it, I just want to I just want to make a small party. Like,
right.
Forget about whatever what's going on during the week. I just want to forget about all that. Like, let's drink a little bit. Let's hang out with some girls. And yeah, I don't know. But I think if any time is good, it's this time. So yeah, the autumn coming up, and then I don't know. We'll see. We'll try to find somebody that maybe is gonna make me like you, maybe make me forget about all this nonsense shenanigans that we've been doing for so long.
Well, the shenanigans are fun.
Mm.
I mean, there's so many guys, that you and I know that kind of had an interesting path, where they effectively like, had a baby, got married for a second, and then kind of just like left that and went back to the single life. Talking about obviously V, Stefan.
Yeah.
It was almost like I felt like they planned that in a weird way.
I think a lot of people do, or a lot of people are trying it, and then they leave, their babies and their baby mamas. They leave them, and they. I'm not like that. I like. It would
Same.
be very hard for me to do that. Like it's not for me. It's not okay. If I commit, it's very hard for me to like. It's not backstab, but like disappoint the person that believed in me, and like like dedicated their life to me, and like brought a child with me. I couldn't just leave like that, like like. So maybe that's why I'm really like picky about who. So I don't really like click for so long, for that long, to have that next step. To say I don't want to, I'm not. I do want to, but I want to be responsible. And if I do, I want it to be meaningful, at least for a long time, not just to pop a baby and like and like but try to pay child support.
Right.
And not being able to
Then fly up
like
to Dubai and party.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'm not like that in my nature. So if I settle down, it's gonna be for a long time with a lot of responsibility, and it might sound weird from a person like me, but like till death do us part would be like that I would want to stay until then. This is what
Right.
I'm looking for. And that's why most of the girls that all of them until now that I meet don't interest me that much, that I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, this is it. This is for I would like to be for a long time, at least, if not forever. So until I find that one person, I don't want to just pop babies and like be irresponsible. There's enough babies in the world that need fathers, man. Like I don't want to make another one like that.
Sure. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. And yeah, I mean, I can't really sit here and say like that was intentional or whatever. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure at the time.
Never say
Their
never.
intentions were
You never
different.
know.
You never know.
Never say
Right.
never. Yeah, you never know.
It's just a
Um,
sort of popular thing maybe I've seen. It's like a trend, it's like you're the playboy and then all of a sudden you get someone pregnant, you play dad for like a little bit, and then once you have that set up, it's like you go back to the playboy lifestyle. I'm like, I don't know.
it's not
Doesn't
sincere,
seem
man. It's
yeah,
not sincere. Almost like you said, it almost seems like they planned it ahead of time. And I would never plan something like that. I would never, like promise somebody to be with them forever when I don't mean it. I could mean it, and then things could change, but I cannot plan ahead of time. Oh, I'm gonna pop a baby and sometime I'm gonna go to Dubai to party. No, I can't do that. I would
sure.
want somebody that I would want to stay with. If the situation changes and stuff like that, I would hope that I can deal with it and not let it fall apart. But if it does, like, I tried. I didn't
Yeah.
plan ahead of time to pop a baby and disappear.
Can you give any insight on, obviously before the war started, Ukraine was like Disneyland for single dudes, especially like Western single dudes, and who are looking to date, and the ratio of men to women was always very favorable. The nightlife was insane. Obviously, now I'm sure things are radically different. I know a ton of Ukrainian women have left and gone to Warsaw, Germany, Berlin. It's like I've got lots of clients in Berlin. I've got a few clients that are in Warsaw, and they're
Yeah.
running around talking to girls, doing their day game approaches, whatnot. And like most of the girls that they meet that they actually like are Ukrainian refugees.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I guess my question is like, what have you seen? Have you seen anything interesting about that? Like, are there, is there any sort of like dating scene? Do you think those girls will come back once the war is over? What do you think is going to go on from like
There
a dating
is.
perspective?
Look, at the beginning, a lot of people left. Right now, a lot of them came back.
Mhm.
Still, the numbers are still crazy of people that stayed, but also at the same time, a lot of the guys here are just in the army here, right? So still the ratio of guys to girls is still, I think, the same, if not even more. But right now, how can I
Meaning
say
it's
it?
there's more women because the
Oh
guys
yeah,
are all
oh yeah,
in the
oh
army.
yeah, oh yeah,
Mhm.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still more women. Um, it's different because it's very hard to be, like, not even party, but to be extra happy. Like, you can't, like, it would look weird if you say in a restaurant and like everybody's like laughing and stuff. Yeah, you could laugh, obviously, like thing, but like you read the news every day and you see what's going on in the front lines, and then sirens are going off once in a while. Some of the like life happiness is a little bit missing. So it's not like, we used to go to a restaurant, sit around laughing nonstop, music, girls picking up girls, like inviting them to the table. There's none of that vibe anymore, because it would look weird, like
Yeah.
a local girl. Like, I became local also. I stayed here, like, even though I didn't have to. I stayed here, and I understand that a local girl could not be like seen in a club, like, woo, like party, like stuff like that. Like we used to, like, karaoke, singing, like, songs and
Right.
stuff. It'll be very weird right now, and I understand that. Like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, like family, friends, like, bombs are flying on buildings. You probably have some family in occupied territory somewhere in the south. A little bit of that lovely, like, happiness about life is a little bit drained or a little bit on hold for now. But as far as dating, like, it's all, you can always go on a date here. Like Badu is crazy. I don't go to, because I don't have the energy, or like the I don't have
Really,
the patience,
Badoo.
actually.
I thought Badoo was
Huh?
more of like a Russian site.
No, it's worldwide, and here it's
Is it?
pretty.
Okay.
It's pretty.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
guess it's in Southeast Asia too. Interesting.
Yeah, it's
So
no,
Badoo
it's
over Tinder.
worldwide. I don't know. I've been blocked from Tinder a long time ago, so
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. I had a girlfriend at the time. We were looking for a threesome, so they blocked me forever, man.
What about seeking?
Seeking? What's that?
You haven't heard of Seeking? It used to be called Seeking Arrangements.
No,
It's
no,
a
no.
sugar daddy, sugar baby
Is it?
site. It used to be, but now it's kind of more mainstream. It's
Hmm.
I just saw an ad on LinkedIn for it, right? If they're advertising on LinkedIn, they've gone mainstream, and it's like where successful men go to meet beautiful women. But it used to
Is it
be,
popular?
but yeah, it's become incredibly popular. I mean, still most people haven't heard of it, but like if I meet a hot girl in LA and I ask her like, do you know what Seeking is? 9 out of 10 are going to say yes, and probably 5 out of 10 might have a profile. Maybe they won't admit it because there's a little bit of a stigma there, but it's like it's like a link from to OnlyFans, right? First you get on Seeking, and then you explore the sugar baby, sugar daddy world, and then you're like, fuck it, I'll just build an OnlyFans and become a full-blown porn star, right? So it's the fast track, it's the gateway drug to women getting
gateway.
into.
I see. I see. I'll look into that. I'll see if it's. I'll see if it's what's going on here.
It was relatively popular in Kiev before I left, so
yeah, I'll look into that. I'll look into that. Our next podcast. I'll fill you in on what's the situation with that is. Badu here is pretty famous. Tinder, I don't know because I haven't been, so I don't know what's going on. But even on the streets and restaurants, and you always see like couples walking around, like lots and lots and lots of stuff going on. I just don't have the patience. I have like 80 workers now, so my head is like completely like filled in with this stuff. So I don't really go on dates and stuff like that. But
I mean,
see the potential.
You've got a social circle extraordinaire. So
still kept some of it. Yeah. So
remember when we were in Odessa, and we're just like, all right, we're leaving tomorrow. We just kept staying, moving from Airbnb to Airbnb because we'd get kicked out for partying.
Yeah.
And then it was just a revolving door of girls coming through. That was,
it was good times.
After my birthday. That was fun.
I think we started off your birthday and then came back a week later or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I never left. Eventually,
actually, I've heard that Odessa opened up a few of their swimming beaches up.
Right.
So I might actually go next month at the beginning of September, which is still like good season. I might go check it out. I'll let you know what's going on there. But I hear Odessa is still like pretty bumping.
If there's one place that's gonna bump, Odessa always partied harder than Kiev in a lot of ways. I felt like it's more of that like party destination, beach town.
It's like nobody knows me. I'll fucking do whatever and then I'll go back without any shame back home.
The Vegas of Ukraine.
I'll leave the shame over there. I'll come back home like clean, like clean slate. Nothing happened. I think I'll try to go check it out. I'll let you know how it goes. Also in Kiev, I've been into Kiev a few times. Like I told you, I couldn't pick myself to go to like Jazz Cafe or something like that to a party, but still like people want to do something at night and like hotel parties. By the way, since I'm pretty sure you heard that last winter the Russians motherfuckers start blowing up our power supplies and power plants and stuff like that. So ever since then, I live in hotels, man. Like I'm in a hotel right now because
they have their own generators, right?
Yeah. Like the 5-star hotels, they have generators. So I live in hotels now because it was impossible, man. Like the experience I've never experienced in my life, man. You're sitting at home, -5 outside, -3 inside. you're eating something from a can. You open a can, you eat something, and then you're like on your phone if you have connection, because when the power outage, usually like the internet connection also falls. If you're lucky and there's some internet, so you're on YouTube watching like Ukrainian propaganda, and like, and then you're like in the middle of the night, you're like, oh fuck, 2%. You're like, okay, when it runs out, I'll go downstairs to the car to charge it, and then the phone dies, and then what happens? You can't find the keys, man. pitch
Oh my
black.
God.
Everything is completely black, and you're like, oh no, man. And you're like scrambling to find some matches or a lighter to look for keys for the car. It's, bro, I've
Dude.
never been in a situation like that in my life, man. The craziest thing. You sleep with your jackets, with a whole bunch of blankets, and then, oh man, in the morning you go into the car, you all like this, trying to like plug in your phone into the sun. It's crazy, man. That they got us good on that, man. Like the winter was not a joke, and the winter was relatively, compared to all the other years, was really hot. Like the worst that it came down to is like -5, and you know how you can get here. You can get to -25. If it was
Yeah.
-25, would have been eating shit here like you wouldn't believe. Yeah,
Yeah, you
that was
forget how
pretty.
much you rely on electricity until you don't
You
have it.
forget how you get it for granted. You take it for granted, man. Like electricity, who
Yeah.
would have thought? And I'm telling you,
It's like,
once
oh,
you
it's fine.
realize,
It's fine if the power goes out. I can just stay on my phone. It's like, oh, until your phone dies, and then you
or if
forget to
you
use your phone as a flashlight, and then that's done. You're fucked. Because I mean,
exactly.
every night, I get up to pee in the middle of the night. I use my phone as a flashlight. Like I rely on that thing. Like
And you
it's my
forget,
second brain.
and,
You forget.
and
Yeah.
you forget because you're on the phone. You're like, oh, he's gonna die. I'm gonna go downstairs. And you're like, okay, he died. How the fuck do I get the keys now? like,
Right.
like, holy fuck, man.
I
A
can't
few
see where
times
my keys are. My air tag's not working. What's going on? Oh, it's dead. Everything's dead. I'm gonna freeze to death now.
Crazy. No,
So
crazy situations.
what I've heard, one of my buddies who is still living in Kiev, he was just back, visiting LA. He thinks they're going to go after the power grid again super hard.
Yeah, they will.
For the winter.
They will. They will. They will. They're already like scouting the places, and there's a lot of there's a lot of their spies here and stuff like that. I think they will. I hope they don't have much firepower left to actually implement a lot of it. But these bastards, yeah, that's what they're gonna try. They're gonna try to freeze us to death.
With all the
100%.
missile defense that Ukraine has received, is that helping significantly?
It's helping, but it's a huge country, man. You know how
Right.
many Patriot systems you need to cover, like even just like Lviv and Kharkiv, and I think it's there's no so many like air defense systems in the world to cover Ukraine. So whatever they
Right.
send us, thank them. We thank them very much for whatever they send them, but it's not enough to block the skies and to actually get like full power, full coverage. And then they start hitting other stuff, so they're moving the air defense systems to other places, and then it's a game of hide and seek kind of thing. They're doing a good job because from whatever happened at the beginning of the war, that they were just hitting whatever they wanted at any time they wanted. Now we give them we give them a fight for it, so now they got a thing. But still, people like rockets penetrate the defense systems, and then they hit something, and when they hit something, it's a mess. Like,
What's the sentiment towards? Have you noticed a shift in sentiment at all? About the war, or about how it's things are being conducted in terms of policy. People supporting Zelensky still totally.
yeah, it's still like 100% behind Zelensky. Zelensky did a like amazing job. The fact that he didn't run when they told him to evacuate everybody. It's not even about Zelensky now. It's about how like the West wants to have like peace talks and stuff like that. Zelensky doesn't have a say. Like people here are not willing to give him an inch of the land because like it's too deep in. Like what they did to Ukraine. They're not gonna forget this for generations, man. Bucha and Irpin and Kharkiv area, like they raped kids, they slaughtered people, they executed people in their with their hands tied down behind their backs. You can't like this is it's gonna be for generations. It's like there's absolutely nothing you can like do, and As far as conducting the war, yeah, there's some questions, but you know, everybody everybody's doing their maximum. So like the counteroffensive right now that's been talking about it for so long, it's not going so well. But we're hoping that it's something is gonna give, right?
Hmm.
But everybody here is in one opinion. Like there's absolutely no other opinions. Not Crimea, not Donbass, nothing. We're not gonna give them an inch. And if it takes 5 or 10 years or whatever, we're already like used to the war. We're used to the thing. There's absolutely nothing stopping us. Right now, every rocket that hits, we instead of like what they think that they're gonna get us to like surrender or something like that. No, it gets us even more mad. As soon as people leave their shelter, they donate to the army, to drones, and donate to the thing just to get these bastards back. And
Right.
like nobody even says like I've never met somebody or heard of anybody saying, oh yeah, maybe we should stop. No, we're not gonna stop till we finish it once and for all. Because otherwise, if we stop now, they're just gonna keep on coming. They're just gonna regroup and gonna come in
Right.
5 years, 10 years. It's just gonna play to their advantage. So it
I
needs
feel
to
like
be.
I feel like Americans really missed that point. I was at a Shabbat dinner recently. My uncle's a rabbi, and he's close friends with Dennis Prager. If you've heard of him, he's a nationally syndicated like radio host, very conservative. Um, and the conversation at dinner got political. It was a really interesting conversation because they were very conservative. I don't even have an opinion in terms of like where I'm at. I don't know. I'm maybe lean a little bit more conservative, but I'm also sort of liberal. I don't know. I obviously support everything Zelensky's done and the efforts there. And the conversation turned to like supporting Ukraine. And now with the elections coming up, I feel like whoever the Republican candidate is going to run anti-Biden in terms of support for Ukraine. Like, why are we supporting this war? Why are we sending money? What's happening? And I think that's totally fucked and shitty, but that's the reality of
Look,
politics.
that's the reality. That's the reality of politics. I think that the right wing, like the conservatives, are actually more against Russia and stuff like that. But right now, before the elections, they'll be playing. As usually politics are, they are going against Biden's stand. I believe that even if there's a regime change in the states, I don't think much is gonna change. I
Really.
think even yeah, oh yeah, I believe so because
Because
it's one of these
that's the
wars.
opposite sentiment that I've heard. It's like if the U.S. stops supporting, they think Ukraine is fucked. But of course,
We
that's what
are
Americans are
fucked.
saying here.
Yeah, we are fucked, but we're still. How at the beginning of the war, when Russia had a lot more power than they have now, and we had a lot less power than we had now. The sheer willpower and the will to protect your home and your loved ones, that's what got us to the point that the West started helping us.
Right.
Before that, what did we have? We didn't even have like they gave us helmets. So it's not gonna be a complete thing. We'll have to rethink how to fight them. But even if tomorrow everything stops, like the aid from the West, I still think we will manage. It's gonna be much harder. But at the other hand, like you can think about it this the other hand too. Like, why the hell takes them so long to help us properly, right?
It's like,
How
why not give
many?
them
How many?
planes day one? Oh,
Yeah,
we're scared. Putin's gonna nuke us. It's like, come on.
exactly. So what? So all these Ukrainian soldiers, young boys that are dying, what? You don't care about them? Like it's, there's you can understand both sides. We thankful for what they give us, 100%. We think that they could do more, but at the same time, it's the state's money is the state's thing. Even though what, like realistically, what they give us is like old stocks and
Oh
it's
yeah.
the money that's been thrown out in the news. It's not actual money. It's a value of a Humvee that hasn't been used for 2 decades is
Yeah.
not
If people think
$100,000.
if people think America's giving state of the art equipment, or anything like that.
Not even
Come on.
close.
Yeah, they're giving shit that they would probably have never used or sold to,
Never use.
some
It's been
African
concentrated.
country or yeah.
Yeah, and not even like it's been written off. So when they tell you they send 3 billion, they sell you the MSRP for a Humvee. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not sending you $3 billion
From the
worth of
90s.
equipment. Yeah, if we're lucky from the 90s, it's like the MLRS, like the HIMARSs are like 80s developed weapons that like nobody used them ever. Like, so it's people need to the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Yes, there's a big help from the states, yes, but it's not all that they say, and we're obviously thankful for that. But by taking you back to the elections, I don't think much will change. I even think that it will be somebody, if there's a regime change, I believe it will be somebody more like the guy from Florida or whatever.
DeSantis.
What's his name? Santos. And he's like he has to say something against Biden because his agenda needs to be against Biden. But I think if he gets into the office, I think there's going to be even more help for Ukraine to finish it faster. And this is the funny part. We can actually finish it faster. Give us like some planes, give us some this, give us some that. We can finish this.
What doesn't make sense is the quasi support. It's like either support or don't. And if you're going to support, just give them everything because, and it's obviously they're not going to give everything, but why give? I think they gave like 50 Abrams tanks. What the fuck are you going to do with 50
Not
tanks?
even 15. 15,
Like,
yeah, 15.
And I think the US has, 5,500 of them or something, or I could be way off, but like the amount of tanks they gave was like
laughable.
Just the amount of Abrams tanks, laughable. It's like, and what the fuck is what are you gonna do with 15 tanks, right? Like,
it's these stupid politics, man. It's politics. Give him enough, but don't give him enough to do that, and they don't want to like Russia to fall apart and then having nukes all over the place. But if you're talking about like lives, like okay, you have these politics in the offices, and there's kids are dying here, and this is one of the clear cut wars since World War II. It's very like black and white. Like there's no ifs or buts. Like they rolled into here thinking that we're gonna accept them and like be their slaves and stuff like that, and you just don't do that. Like, and then the world is coming together to help us, but just enough for us not to like not to fall.
right.
It's frustrating, but at the same time I believe that Ukraine needs to deal with these bastards alone, and then say that we beat them alone, like Ukraine beat them, not all of these narratives that they try to push through the things that they're fighting against all NATO and stuff like that. No,
there's
not good enough.
NATO soldier.
Yeah,
there's equipment.
It's not good enough.
But who cares? You need to operate the equipment.
It's not good enough. At the end, when everything is said and done, the victory needs to be on Ukraine, not on NATO, not on the United States. Ukraine needs to say we are the clear winners. That's it.
Yeah, well, that's certainly the case. Have you noticed any changes in dead soldiers coming back since they started the offensive, or like as time goes on? Obviously, I mean, because you see these body counts. I'm on a few different Telegram channels. Of course, it's mostly Ukrainian propaganda, but the stats I've seen are like 250,000 dead Russians, and they say that obviously the Ukrainians are significantly less, but still significant. But they say every dead soldier affects like 100 people. That's some stat I heard. So when that number,
and this is the sad part, this is the sad part, and here I think they're dealing with it, because at the beginning when I was living here, you would see trucks every morning that bring dead soldiers. It's called 200. 200 means dead soldier. I think now they're dealing with it a little bit more to like bring it down to for people not to see it, because it raises up a lot of emotions. So I think maybe they start moving them at nighttime or something like that, and It's very sad, man. It's very sad. It's uncalled for. All these, like young Ukrainians, not only young, even what they say here, that Russia is losing all their, like, the absolute no good people, and we're here losing our best, our finest, and this is very
Right.
sad. Like, I know a lot of people that went, a business owner beside my office is like, this young guy, entrepreneur, very like good, and he just one day he just broke, probably like he didn't even say why, but just like he wasn't planning. All of a sudden he's like, tomorrow I'm going to the front. Like, I've had it. And this is what he said. It affects 100 people. You never know. He heard maybe one of his friends fell, or like whatever, or like one of his relatives in the occupation got, God forbid, like raped or something like that, and it just, affects people like very crazy. And we're losing here. We're losing the best people here. Like, even your friend there.
Roman.
The young guy, yeah, I see him
Yeah.
on Facebook once in a while, bro. He's in some dangerous situations, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what. I hope
He's been on CNN a few times. I mean, because
yeah,
he's a great blogger. He's
yeah,
on the front lines. He's a sniper.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he films a lot of content, and he's
yeah,
very good about posting it.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm scared for him all the time because he's
I'm also
right
scared.
in the
I don't
thick
know
of
him
it.
that much, but I'm very scared of him because this is a fine guy, man. And look what
Yeah.
they sent here, man. Did you see the fucking what they send here? Like the garbage of the garbage, like these drunk fucking assholes that want to rape children and stuff like that. So this is the harsh reality, man. Like, I hope that once the dust settles and everything is fine, I hope we're gonna have like the good guys left here, that we can rebuild the country here and make it like really what it's supposed to be. But right now it's very sad, man. Very sad. Like, really, I see some very good guys that are going to the front, and you never know when they're gonna come out or not. I see a lot of Israeli guys that a lot of Israeli died here. Guys
Really.
from like special ops and stuff like that. Yeah, they
Hmm.
were training, then they were fighting. Very sad, man. Very sad. And then we see their fucking generals, like their fucking drunk fucking faces, like fucking like puffy fucking faces. You see that he's been drinking fucking all his life. This fucking motherfucker sending fucking their young fucking drunk kids to fucking die. It's really, the injustice here is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so sad because it's like, at the end of the day, it's like for what? It's
Absolutely nothing, man.
yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely. I don't. I still try to sit with myself once in a while and understand what the fuck made them. What What the fuck? Like, for what? For the
So
Donbass? Like,
yeah, I'm curious. I've heard some. I listened to all the like John. I think it's Mersheimer or Meshmeyer. Like he was one of the big political professors talking about analyzing Putin, and he had a bunch of talking about NATO and how the West shouldn't intervene. This was many years before the war, and he kind of predicted the war. But then so there's that, and there's a bunch of different YouTubers and guys talking about why it's happening or what Putin's motives are. The one that makes the most sense to me, just taking like Occam's razor, which is the likely answer is probably the answer. Um, but when Putin's had very low approval ratings, he's always started a war. Chechnya, Syria. Um, and I felt like his approval rating was definitely hurting because of Navalny. He was gaining a lot of popularity. And the thing that makes the most sense to me, and I'm no fucking expert, of course, but it makes the most sense to me that he may have started the conflict as a way to rally the country behind him. And obviously he's a corrupt, selfish dude who him and his cronies are all on their yachts and just essentially raping the Russian population of their money. So, and he knows if he loses power, he's dead. um Maybe that played in. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
okay, but then all this huge country with these vast resources didn't realize that we're not gonna roll over and let him in, or what? Like, how is that?
No,
Like
just as a
like
motive. Like, why did Putin start the war?
Well, I believe the motive, honestly. I believe that he's been in power for too long. Like a lot of the world leaders currently, like Bibi Netanyahu, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They lose touch with reality. They lose touch
Yeah.
with the thing. They just
Absolute
they
power
surround
absolutely
themselves. Yeah,
corrupts.
absolutely corrupts. And then they surround themselves with people that only yes men, and they lose complete touch with reality. He actually thought they actually came in the first waves came in here not to fight but to manage crowds. You know that, right? Like they weren't so like the soldiers came in first, and then they were bringing in the crowd management with like with these shields and stuff like that. And how can you be so detached from reality to actually think that you're gonna roll in here and you're gonna be in Kiev in 3 days and you're gonna have to manage like some uprisings and stuff like that, like minor ones. So I think that he's been in power for 30 years. I believe that for him it's already a game, and it was like a basically like a power trip that
Yeah.
he wanted to. I don't think it was some kind of bro. They've been rigging fucking elections for so long. He doesn't even care about like his power because for the first elections maybe, also with a lot of like manipulations with the blowing up with Chechnya and stuff like that. So he got to power to that. That was manipulation. The second elections he didn't get elected. They were just drawing numbers whatever they wanted to. So I don't think that moved them one bit. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is craziness and detachment from reality, and then wanting to be one of these great czars of Russia, the conqueror of lands and stuff like that. And I think it was like a big computer game for him, even though I've never seen a computer in his life. So and that's in my opinion, because
Mm-hmm.
it's unrealistic that they didn't know. They should have known, but he was so arrogant that he's so powerful and big and blah 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 that he thought he's gonna roll in here, everybody's gonna accept him, and he's gonna be the next czar of Russia. Uh, a power. Honestly, the elections, I don't think it bothers them one bit, man. They wanna their media is controlled, everything is controlled. Their voting is controlled. I don't think if he actually he made himself such a stupid move that if he didn't roll into Ukraine, he could have lived with Crimea for another 10, 15, 20 years. He could have actually went down in history as like the conqueror of Crimea, because there was no Ukraine wouldn't attack Crimea if this didn't
Right.
happen. You know,
Right.
we wouldn't. Yeah, we would have like gathered some conferences and said, oh, it's bad that the Crimea is in Russia, blah blah blah, but nobody would have attacked. So he could have actually like kept it. But now you opened a big can of worms that it's not gonna shut down, it's not gonna close until it's over. And hopefully like we'll get Crimea back and everything back, and we're gonna teach this motherfucker a lesson.
Hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean, who knows why he did it or what, but I think hopefully I think he regrets it. I hope he regrets it. I mean,
Well,
unless he's a
now it's too
complete
late.
madman, I feel like
Too
he
late for
probably
regrets,
does.
man.
Yeah.
Too late for regrets. Now it's pay. It's pay time. It's payback time. Now it's
Right.
nobody. He
I mean,
cannot say, "Oh,
hopefully
I'm
he
sorry."
knows he's made a huge mistake.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think like he's detached from reality. I think just now he start understanding. He start like digging and start understanding that he did a fucking like the stupidest mistake of like since Napoleon time. Well, no, Hitler times. This is like this is up there with the thing. But like actually, this is one of the things that a lot of the comparison to Hitler. Did you see that? Like
oh yeah,
it was amazing. Did
that
you
was
see
huge
the
in
book that
the
he wrote?
memes and the
Did
no,
you see no? Did you see the book that he wrote? My Struggle. You never
really
seen it?
like Mein Kampf.
Look, like Mein Kampf. Bro,
Wow,
I thought it was a meme first. He's doing a judo. Like there's a book. He's doing a judo fucking swing, and My Struggle, man. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a fucking. I thought it was a prank. I thought it was a Ukrainian propaganda. Look it up, man. He's got a book called My Struggle in the bookstores. Fucking crazy, man.
wow.
Very crazy. Very very crazy. So this guy, I think Hitler is actually his like role model or something like that, because he attacked Kiev at 4 o'clock in the morning and fucking this and that, or like a whole bunch of like parallel fucking things, man. This guy's crazy, nuts.
So what's your plan next? You're going to stay in Lviv. Eventually maybe move back to Kharkiv if it, where would you move back if the war ended tomorrow?
Well, now I have a like an operation set up here, like a business set up here. So I think I will leave that here also, and I think I will branch out to, I think, Kiev first, and then Kharkiv, because Kharkiv is still too close for comfort, man. Like these
Yeah.
bastards, they're like throwing rockets like every for breakfast, man. Like these motherfuckers, man. So I think soon, I think either like probably next spring I will start like thinking about moving into Kiev also, opening a branch there, opening the company that I told you about, like business development here. And yeah, probably Kiev, and then Kharkiv. I really like Kharkiv. Really like entered my heart, so I do miss it, and I do really want to do something there and like rebuild it when the time is right. But right now, in this kind of war, man, it's one day at a time, man. I'll be honest with you. Like all the plans that we've been planning, it's been just like, like been shifted. Every rocket, every like new situation, everything has been shifted. So trying to plan ahead of time, but like it's more of like future goals than actual like business plan with step by step.
Right.
But we'll be really glad to Kiev. I will come back to for sure, and we'll be really glad to also come back to Kharkiv eventually.
Yeah. I'm excited to go back too. The reason I haven't been back yet is because my wife can't leave the country until she gets
Yeah.
her green card appointment. It's been over a year. The
Oh yeah.
bureaucracy is so slow.
Oh yeah.
Unless we went to the office and got like a special permit for her to leave. But my car is still sitting in Berlin in a
Is it?
parking lot with
Yeah.
Ukrainian plates on it. I love that car too. I
Yeah.
still have like half of my worldly belongings, including my laptop, in my
Yeah.
safe in my apartment in Kiev. Um, and I
Well,
miss
if
it a
you need
lot.
any
And
help, yeah, if you need any help to recover anything, let me know. I'll try.
I had a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff shipped back from, my Airbnb tenant was nice enough to help me pack it up.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm doing a live boot camp. I've got the guys in my community coming in
Mm,
this weekend, um,
okay.
to get some in-field experience, and we do a bunch of exercises where we bring in models and the
Hmm.
guys get feedback from the models. And
Oh
I used
yeah.
to do all that in Kiev, as you remember.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
oh man, it's doing it here in the States compared to doing it in Kiev. It just fails in comparison. It's just the nightlife is so
Yeah.
much better, so much more
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You could walk around you leave the street and you
Yeah.
leave your apartment, you go down the street. It's like every 20, 30 seconds, you
Yeah.
break your neck looking at a beautiful
Oh
woman.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Here
You
it's
go
like,
for milk. Yeah. You go for milk. You get three numbers. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's how it is.
here I mean,
Yeah.
I'm living in West LA, and like the amount of uh you know people you see, you're like, the non-binary or whatever the fuck, like, is that a man or a woman? And you're not allowed to say, because and it's just like you never even see anyone unless you go to like the nice restaurants or clubs. It's like you're walking around, it's like, what happened here? Did a bomb go off? No one takes care of themselves. No one, like, you
Yeah.
can't even go to like a hair, like Maria went to a hair salon down the street, and they wouldn't even blow dry her hair. It's like the attention to beauty and to detail, and the amount that people give a shit about how they look
Oh
in a
yeah.
place like LA, where you think like those sort of narcissistic qualities would be on the or would be high. It's like nothing, right? It's like people don't take care of themselves. No one gives a shit. They don't care if they're a
Yeah.
man or a woman, or they're confused. And
you,
it's
you know my theory about that. You know my theory. I'm sure I told you that before on our podcast, that when a girl gets hit on a million times a day, just like in Israel and Canada where I used to live, when a girl just gets hit on like a million times a day, she starts letting it go, and then she sees, oh, like I'm still getting hit on same amount of time, so I'm gonna let that thing go, and then not get makeup, and then not do my hair, and then I still get the same amount of
attention.
guys. So
Hmm.
why should I bother? Why should I go to the gym? Why should I get dressed? Why should I get this and that? So yeah, this is it's the reality. In Israel, it's also same like that, because there's more guys than girls, and so they get the attention anyways, whether they try or not. And here it's still the
So as
same.
the
Here,
ratio, the theory is as the ratio gets more and more skewed towards
supply and
men,
demand.
women
Yes,
stop caring and taking care of themselves because the
supply and
attention and
demand,
validation
man.
comes easy, right? Interesting.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, the basic supply and demand, man. If you have more women, they compete for less guys, so they try. They go to the gym. They they get their makeup done. They get their hair done, and if they see, oh, I didn't do my hair done today, and I still get like picked up everywhere, like stuff like that. So why should I get it the next day, right? So it's evolution. It's the pickup evolution, I guess. Like, that
Pimponomics,
yeah,
evolutionary psychology, if we're being
exactly,
more PC, I guess.
exactly, exactly, exactly. So yeah, so that's the world you live in, and the world I live in now, still the same. But I will be very glad to see you, man. If you come for a visit, it will be very nice.
Yeah, man.
I I,
Definitely
I
have
don't
to.
encourage anybody right now, because the obvious reasons, you never know, But if
Right.
you, I will be glad to host you here, and anybody that wants to come will be great. We really need visitors here.
No, thanks. Well,
Yeah.
gotta drive from Berlin to Kiev, and Lviv is on the way. So
Yeah. I just
definitely
drove
on the.
last month. I told you I drove to Croatia. That was a fun drive.
Wow, you drove from
Croatia.
Lviv.
Oh yeah, from Lviv, I drove to Budapest, hung out in Budapest for a few nights, then drove to Croatia, to Rika. Amazing place, man. Oh my lord, like the nature, like on a mount. We rented a villa on the mountain with a view over the Gulf. There, it was amazing. Then I drove back through Serbia, through Belgrade. It was
Hmm.
also an experience.
Did you drive
Belgrade,
to get to Belgrade? Did you go over the mountains from
yeah,
Croatia?
yeah,
Because there's that big
yeah,
mountain
yeah.
range there.
Yeah. Not the Adriatic, the Adriatic Sea, and then the Balkans,
Balkans,
the
right?
Balkans.
Did you
Yeah,
go
yeah. I
through
was
Sarajevo or Montenegro, or you were further north?
no. I went to Reka through Zagreb, which is Croatia,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
Zagreb straight to Belgrade.
Okay, that's the
Belgrade,
route I took. Yeah.
Yeah, it
I also
was
drove from
amazing.
Budapest back in 2012. I did a big sort of Euro tour, Euro trip with
Mm,
my buddy, and we rented a car in Barcelona, drove to Paris,
mm,
north through Germany and Belgium, all the way over to Poland, down
mm,
to Budapest, and ended up in Croatia and Split.
yeah.
Did you make it down to Split?
S-
Split was
No,
was
no,
fun.
yeah, it's down south more. We didn't really have time, but Split
Hmm.
also here. There's way too touristy because of the
Music
series,
festivals.
the HBO. No, the HBO series with
Oh, Game of
the
Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, like
Right.
people say that it's hectic. So I don't like those touristy places. So Reka
Yeah, they
was
filmed a
like
lot of that in
tourist.
Dubrovnik, which is where they
Yeah,
filmed.
Dubrovnik and Split also. So I don't really like these hangouts. I like more of a local vibe. So Reka
Mhm.
was amazing like that. There was a lot of tourists, but like chill tourists, like not these fucking crazy fucking like the old money tourists, I guess.
Right.
And yeah, it was fantastic, man. The nature there is like the Adriatic Sea and the Balkan mountains. Phew.
I
Wow.
love Belgrade too. I mean, I've the thing that I found interesting about the women, in the Balkans, or I guess former Yugoslavia, I met in Croatia. I would I think I met 3 or 4 beautiful police officers who were also
Mhm.
like studying to be doctors, like really educated. Same in Belgrade, like the Serbian women, the Croatian women, they're tall, they're beautiful, they're smart. Um, Obviously, the guy population there is more competitive than I felt like Ukraine was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Guys are taller, a little bit more alpha, a little bit.
Yeah.
more edgy.
Not only
Um,
that, in the situation today, Serbia is very pro-Russian. So me
mm,
driving my truck with the with the Ukrainian license plate, I was a little bit, a nice truck.
Dicey,
Also Alpha with like tattoos and stuff like that at the window.
right?
They didn't really they didn't really like me there, but. I don't know. I had that too of a Soviet vibe there. It's like a lot of gray buildings and stuff like that. I didn't really
Yeah,
like it. The Croatia was amazing. It was like like the orange rooftops and stuff like that, and like the small streets. Like it was very like like from the movies. It was very nice.
yeah,
Serbia was too gray for me for my liking. Maybe because of that feeling right now
right.
of the war and stuff like that. Maybe that also
What
contributed
about
to that.
Budapest? Because they have a Russian influence too.
No, Budapest. They're a lot more. They only have that Orban fucking dude that fucked
Exactly.
their president. He's the only one.
Totally
Actually, they're
corrupt.
very. Yeah, they were very sympathetic towards Ukrainians. They really give us like a good feeling about us coming. But
That's
also
good because
Budapest is very.
I was there after the war started as well, and I
Yeah.
think I was there in April. Um,
Mm,
and yeah, I mean, I'm driving around with my, you know, car with Ukrainian plates on it, so
mm,
didn't have any
mm,
problems in Budapest. But
yeah.
we
No,
decided
it's
not to go to Belgrade for that reason because we were driving from
yeah,
Turkey, so we just skipped Belgrade because we knew it was very
yeah.
pro-Russian.
Yeah, you did smart. Also, like Budapest, too touristy for my liking. It's
Yeah,
way too touristy. It became like a tourist big thing.
lots of
Good for
Western
them, yeah. Good
European
for
tourists.
them, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
good
used
for
to go
them.
to
But it's not
Budapest
my
every
thing.
summer from like
Mm,
2012 until 2017. I would go, and I had
mm,
lots of friends there. I'd go back every year. I would even run events there, and they have
mm,
two big music festivals. They have Balaton Sound, and they've got Ziget. And
mm.
I just like over the years from starting in like 2016, 2017, I just saw Budapest transform into such a tourist trap,
Yeah,
and like it just
yeah.
became not
Yeah,
that
and
interesting.
this is what I've seen now, and I'm telling you, like I don't like those vibes. I like locals. I
Yeah,
like local vibes. I like the local culture, and and I mean it's good that they have a lot of tourists, and I'm sure they're making good money, but it loses the thing. I mean, every taxi driver is trying to rip you off, and like we're trying to go to a strip club there, like, oh, you want some lady heard us. Oh, you want to go to a strip club? Sit here in the car. Go there. They bring us to a strip club. Oh my fucking lord, man! I've never seen I've never seen monsters like that in my life, man. So it's like these tourist traps, man. Like my face, they can't really like I look like a bulldog, so they can't really like
right.
rip me off too thing,
You
but
don't look
he's
like a
like
pigeon.
cheap. Yeah, I don't look like like a sweet guy that would like. But still, they bring me to this club, and I'm like, oh my god, man! Like come on, man! I don't like that. I don't like those. I feel like like a cow that's walking through a milking station, and like they're trying to like to like milk you. It's not my thing, man. That's why I still like Kiev, and even Lviv, which is a touristy place by definition. It's still so much more gullible and so much more naive in that sense that they don't see you as a dollar sign walking around, and like like you can actually enjoy the actual culture, like the local culture. And in Budapest, you don't have that. There's nothing local. There's everything is
Yeah.
touristy. Everything is like to get as much money of you from you as possible. And they have the Jamie Olivers and the this. I'm not going to Budapest to eat the Jamie Olivers or the Burger Kings and stuff like that. Like I want to see like the local attractions and the local food and the local people and stuff like that. And not my thing, man.
Yeah, I feel you on that. No interest in going back to Budapest. So,
Yeah,
well, dude, this has been awesome. Appreciate
very
you coming
awesome,
on
man.
and sharing your wisdom about
I'm
all the ins and
so
outs of
happy, so
Ukrainian
happy for
culture.
you having me. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we'll keep in touch, man. I would like to do one of those more, maybe closer to the end of the war, and fill you in and fill your viewers on the situation, and maybe and maybe invite people here to come and visit when it's safe enough that I can feel comfortable with inviting people to visit Ukraine. And yeah, thank you very much, man. And thanks
Yeah,
for everybody.
if people want to reach out, how can they find you?
Instagram, you can write down my Instagram. It's easy, Dagesh. Always been, always will be. If anybody is interested, please DM me for anything. Like if you want to know anything about Ukraine, anything about business here or traveling here or whatever, I'll be glad to answer any of the questions. Yeah, and if just anything, pretty much, you can ask me. I'll be glad to answer.
Awesome. Dude, thanks so much for coming on, and thanks for everyone for listening. Leave us, give us some love, give us a like, send me a comment, tell me I'm ugly, do all the things.
yeah. Find me on Instagram. Also, tell me I'm ugly. I'll be all right. All right, dude.
Thanks, guys.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're new to the show and digging our content, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you listen or watch. But if you're not really digging it, go ahead, just don't leave us any review at all. That'd be great. If you're feeling a little bit stuck or you just want to optimize and step up your game, we've opened up a few spots in our Inner Confidence community. We're accepting applications if you want to join our select group of men and experience the radical power of accountability, cross everything off your sexual bucket list, and just become a beast who gets more stuff done. To learn more and apply, go to start.innerconfidence.com.